What's going on? It's your boy Will Mike Craven. Hit that like, share, subscribe button. And without further ado, on to the video. What's going on, good people? This topic right here, this for all my fellas, man. All y'all in a relationship, marriage, or whatever. This topic here is something you need to be doing. It's something you need to be beating this other man at. And this man is the minister, preacher, pastor. And I know this definitely applies to brown people with my complexion. I know it definitely applies there because I've seen it in my own quite often. And that is, you need to be better than the pastor. You need to be more knowledgeable than the pastor. If you want your marriage to flourish or you want your relationship to flourish, you need to be that dude. You need to submit yourself. And I don't care if you don't like the Bible or whatever it is with the Bible or any type of spirituality, you need to immerse yourself into it. Why? Because that pastor or that minister has more control over your woman and getting her to submit than you will. If you don't understand why she submits to him. And it's mainly because of the spiritual aspect. That man has a position in which he is serving and teaching, which is why I always say teaching is the most important and most masculine thing a man possesses, which is why they submit to the pastor before they submit to you, because it's a position of masculinity. It is a position of power, and it touches their spirit. And when you touch the spirit, it's easy to get them submit. It happens even with men and men in positions where when that man is teaching, he becomes that authoritative figure. And when he becomes that authoritative figure, you then become the student. And the student, 9 times out of 10, will be eager to learn from that individual. So, when you look up and you upset that your woman or a woman you like, she goes to the church quite often, or she's more invested in religious affairs or anything in that nature of spirituality, it's because that individual, or wherever it is she's at, he possesses her by way of teaching. And the connection with the spirit man brings people to a whole new light. This is why we say people who become enlightened, it's usually connected to the spirit realm. And when people say, "Oh, I opened my third eye," that is reference to the spirit world. So when they go to church or whatever sector and they have a religious or a spiritual awakening or feeling, if you haven't done that, she's not going to submit to you like she does that man. And a lot of preachers or religious leaders, they may not understand the full effect of what's going on, so they're not going to relinquish that type of position. Why? Because chances are they're not getting that possibly from their own mate because of familiarity. When we as individuals are with each other for so long, we become familiar. So certain things we're not going to get. And one of the biggest things that a man needs is praise. So what do you think happens when these women go to church or do all this stuff? They're praising the pastor. So he's not really minimizing it because he's not getting it elsewhere. So he's going to keep using that aspect because it's feeding something inside of him that every man technically needs. every man needs to be praised. Every woman needs validation. So, and they're going to think that, oh, I don't need such and such. But let you get it from the right individual. Let somebody like Idris Elba or Method Man is the big thing right now in the community. Let him praise your woman. Let one of them two praise your woman. Or you know what I'm saying? You got his name slipping my mind. He plays Steve Rogers and Captain America. Let him, yeah, because what's her name? Old girl who's constantly in the media. I almost said her name. In that case, I almost said her name. I can't think of. Lizzo. Yeah, she went out to old boy with Steve Rogers. She liked him and he dissed her, but let him have gave her the answer she was looking for. She would have been one flew over cuckoo's nest because old boy turned around and gave her that validation. That's how it works. But yes, but if that pastor's getting that from them, he's not going to relinquish that. Only a real man who has understanding and value you as a man and respect your man, he's going to turn around and tell you that's in that position as far as a spiritual advisor leader, he's going to turn around and lead her to you because technically that's what's supposed to happen. But a lot of them don't do that, which is why your woman or wife is actually being held hostage from the pastor dude because he's not getting what he's supposed to be getting either. So it creates a problem. So you have to be that actual spiritual advisor. But I mean, if a lot of fathers were teaching this to their daughters, that this is what needs to be happening, and actually the father is a spiritual advisor to his own daughter, he then relinquishes that role to the man who he actually approves of to his daughter. But that man has to actually be in the home for that to manifest. And as we know, in the Brown community, 51% of children are raised by a single, unmarried parent. So there's an issue right there. So I hate to say it, but you're automatically fighting an uphill battle to get that submission that you want from her. You have to be on the same level as the pastor. Now, I'm not saying you got to go out here and learn how to preach. I'm not saying that. I mean, if you do, it's an actual benefit and plus, but you need to know. You need to know what's in that Bible. And I can say, like, I said on videos. As a matter of fact, I did an interview with my dad, who's a minister. If you saw that joint, you heard that stuff come out. I'm the son of preacher, so I had to learn the stuff, and they sent me off to a private prep school, so I had to learn that stuff. And in learning that stuff, it became very interesting because a lot of women, when they turned around and saw that I knew that, they treated me totally different. It was a whole different vibe. Like, they would come to me, even when they had the Pookies and Ray Rays, they come to me like, hey, I just feel real bad about what I'm doing and such and so. And can we talk Bible and can you teach me? Just like, what is it? Oh, okay. Wait, what? So you want to, Pastor, do it. I would try to sleep with my woman. Technically, he probably not. Like in my case, like I wouldn't, but I understood. Like, oh, okay. I'm opening you spiritually. The spiritual connection, which is what, we say the Bible is supposed to do, is awaken the spiritual connection with you, God, and all this other stuff. And so it's like, when you start knowing the religious aspect stuff of whatever it is that you're religiously seeking, it opens the mind further to go deeper, which is why I get a lot of women who turn around saying, you're intriguing. Because I already understand. I want to unlock the spiritual aspect. Why? Because I understand that's where the submission, the true keys to submission is going to come in. If she not running back to you for you to teach her, you're not finna unlock it. she gonna only listen so far. You will not have that position and power that pastor dude has. Like, oh, okay, well, we got church service today. I'm going to church. And then, some of the ones that's out there, you ain't doing the whole church thing, and they call you the heathen, and they running to him, and you mad, or you seen somebody in that position, and like, man, I ain't trying to be blah, 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 or the pastor pimping. I mean, when you look at the pimp, the women he have that he pimping, they submissive. I mean, think about this stuff, man. It's funny, but it's a reality. It's a reality, man. Once I start realizing, it's like, man, I don't care what you say. I know what happens. I know what happens. Dude, I've said this even on my own social media platform, and various groups are like, look here, man. It's been the best of the best that you thought was spiritual. When you start tapping in that spiritual and start hitting them with certain stuff, and then try to make them start really thinking and to go deep, man, them hormones get to trickling, and that faucet down below get to start running, and everything else is like somebody trying to feel the spirit, and they trying to feel more than one spirit. Man, I'm telling you, man, you got to be like the pastor, as knowledgeable as the pastor. You got to do it. You have to do it. Like, I mean, y'all see this right here. I grew up in church, played those in church, and it's been plenty of rascals, because my background and my parents, and I had to learn, would get actual sermons from me before they even actually gross the pulpit and start preaching to people. Like, bro, I've learned this long time ago. It is Transformers. Find the doorway, Sam. Find the doorway. When he goes to the ancient one to find out what the what's the Allspark? It was the Matrix. Yeah, and he's like, find the doorway, Sam. Find it. You gotta. And once he found it, the whole power came from the Matrix. He got the Matrix, and then he still had faith. See? And that was a whole other aspect, even in that movie. Well, old girl, she's like, she thought it was over because the Matrix crumbled, but he still had faith and believed. So, man, yeah, you definitely need to show you got some faith, because faith is a huge key element in women. They have more faith a lot of times than we do as men in this day and age. Although it used to be differently, but now they have to have a lot of faith. And if you can speak, preach, and teach aspects of faith and put that stuff into action, because it has to be an action. You have to have action. You just can't talk. You have to be able to have action. And the reason why a lot of pastors they can back up what it is that they're doing and get the submission is because their number one trait is the action that they do. Whether they going to the homeless, feeding the sick, tending, at least doing some of the things that's biblically in there. If they're doing some of those things, that's how they're maintaining that interest for that woman. If not, it's only going to last so long. You'll have them leave the congregation. But as long as they're doing certain things, doing funerals, when your loved one is in the hospital and they're going to visit, or the biggest one, every Sunday morning, and they get up and they're preaching, and then they preaching, and I feel the Spirit and all this other stuff, and they say, oh, we had a good time at church. He's touching her spirit. He's touching it. What are you doing? What? Literally, ask yourself this. How are you touching her spirit? Because this other man is touching your spirit, your woman's spirit, at least once a week. If she's going to Bible class or, them old school churches where they still got prayer meeting and he's there, he's down doing it 3 times a week. That ain't even including if she's a part of some portion of the ministry, but then he's talking to her more often than the 3 times he's seeing her. What the heck you think? Was she not finna be submissive to him? You're losing. And this is why men are becoming less and less effective, because they've lost most of the women to the church. And when you go there, it's, my pastor. Oh, my pastor. Or their favorite minister. Oh, my minister. With technology now, you're not just competing now. In the old days, you were just competing with the one minister. Now you're competing with multiple, because now a lot of these churches got live stream. You can stream a rascal on TV, and you got rascals who give their money, well, ministry it is that they have, church function or whatever. And now she possibly has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many minutes she watching? And the thing now, you got the prophet guys, and you see this on social media. Oh, I got a word and blah blah blah. And you're competing with all of that. And if you're not capable of being the priest of your own home, or you guys like to say the king, I'm a king and all this other stuff. If you ain't doing that, you technically really aren't the king. That guy is. And he is dictating your wife. Because if she don't show up to church or whatever service they got, she gonna feel some type of way. Like, I let Pastor down, or they need me at the church. Man, in my childhood, teenage and early 20s, I seen guys' homes get less than the church get. And the guys sit there like, she do all the stuff for the church. What did you get? What is she doing for you? She taking that for the pastor? No, like, make this make sense. Like, seriously, make this make sense. Like, how is this even possible? You don't know. This is possible because you don't know. You don't know why. Well, I'm sharing you this information currently. You're not understanding why you lose it to the pastor, because you have to learn how to tap in spiritually. I mean, it's a must. Like, just like it's a must to have, you have to validate and praise your woman and reassure. If you don't do these things, she's going to waver. She's going to go to some other guy and go look for it and find it. And you have to tell her that you love her. Like, as men, we think logically, because I do such and such, I'm showing you that I love you. No, they got to hear it. So this is the same thing as far as you have to learn the whole spiritual aspect, or you're going to lose. Then you mad if the pastor is messing around and slept with your woman or whoever else, or he got more control than you do, because you ain't learning this. You as a man, you are competing, unfortunately, with other men trying to dominate your house. Even the government tries to dominate your house, and that's and the government operates in a masculine role. So you compete against the government, you compete against every other man who he may possibly think that you got a good woman, and they want that too, because men love to covet what they see. They want what they can't have. You compete against all that. That's just why I say relationship, marriage is work. Life itself is work. I mean, I put that video out in regards to you getting here. You beat 1 million sperm to get here. That was work. Oh, you think you didn't just stop? What? You just stopped swimming? You think that's what happened? You had to keep swimming to get here. That was constant, and to beat 1 million of them joints. So to think that, oh, I don't have to do anything, or I shouldn't have to do anything, is crazy. It makes absolutely no sense, because you started racing, racing against all odds to get here so you can live. So you gotta learn this stuff. I mean, there's no easy way about living life. It just gets smoother the more you live. That's all it does. It gets smoother the more you live. The more you live and the more you keep doing, things get smoother. When you work out, it sucks at first. You don't want to do it. But the more you keep doing it, you start building muscle and all that other stuff. It gets smoother. It gets smoother. There are days you ain't gonna want to do it, but it gets smoother. Same thing, whatever it is you practicing. You playing key, piano, drums, guitar, bass, whatever, singing. It gets smoother the more you keep doing it, which is, in the word of perfect, the more you keep doing it, the more you keep maturing. A maturation process is happening. This has to be done. So, regardless of if you don't like whatever religion it is you don't like, you need to learn, and in order to be on that level, to have a spiritual awakening, you need to be able to tap in. If not, that preacher man is going to supersede you. There's no two ways about it. If he ain't on the mature level to send her your way, you're gonna lose. And if that man don't respect your authority and expect your household and say you're the man of that house, and he tell her you need to go talk to your husband. As a matter of fact, it's not 100% necessary that you be here on this specific night. Spend time with your husband. If he's not doing that, you're going to lose. So, fix your face, fix your spirit, go get some fat on your head, as I said in previous videos, and yeah, adapt, man. Become a chameleon, man. Be all things to the best of your ability, and improve yourself. But in the meantime, y'all be easy. I'm out. Peace.